Sometimes it shows up in small moments. You're standing in the kitchen, the light a little too bright, holding a glass of water you forgot you poured. Or you're scrolling on your phone late at night, thumb moving, but nothing really landing. Everything looks normal. Life is happening. And yet, it feels like you're slightly behind a glass wall, watching it instead of being in it. You might wonder why you're not reacting the way you used to. Why things that once felt meaningful now feel distant. Or why you're moving through your days on autopilot, doing what's expected, but not quite feeling here. What you may be experiencing is a sense of disconnection from life. In this video, I want to slow that feeling down and explain why it can happen, what's usually underneath it, and how to relate to it without turning it into a problem you need to solve. Feeling disconnected doesn't always look dramatic. It's often quiet. It can feel like going through the motions without much emotional weight. Like your days are technically full, but somehow flat. You're present, but not fully engaged. It's not that something is clearly wrong. It's more like something is missing, and you can't quite name what it is. One common reason this happens is prolonged mental overload. Not the obvious kind where everything is falling apart, but the slow, steady kind where your mind is always a little busy. Thinking ahead. Managing details. Keeping things running. Even rest can start to feel like another task to optimize. When this goes on for a while, your system doesn't shut down, but it does narrow. You stay functional by pulling your attention inward, focusing on what's necessary, not what's meaningful. Over time, that can create a sense of emotional distance from your own experiences. You might notice it when you finish something important and feel nothing. Or when a weekend passes and you can't remember much of it. Life keeps moving, but your inner world feels muted. Sometimes, it comes from adapting to disappointment without realizing it. Not a single big event, but a series of smaller letdowns. Expectations that didn't pan out. Efforts that weren't met. Moments where you showed up emotionally and felt unseen or brushed past. For a lot of people, the mind learns to protect itself by staying a little detached. If you don't fully lean in, it won't hurt as much when things fall short. That protection can be subtle. You still care, just not all the way. You stay involved, but with one foot out the door. This can show up as a kind of numbness toward things you used to enjoy. Not because they stopped mattering, but because letting them matter started to feel risky. So your system chooses distance, even if you didn't consciously ask it to. Over time, another layer shows up when your life becomes shaped more by obligation than choice. Doing what needs to be done. Being reliable. Meeting expectations. Holding things together. On the outside, it can look like you're functioning well. Responsible. Capable. On track. But inside, there may be very little room left for your own reactions. Your own preferences. Your own sense of aliveness. When most of your energy goes toward maintaining structure, there isn't much left for feeling connected to the moment you're in. This is when life can start to feel like a checklist instead of an experience. Days blur together. You can't tell if you're tired, bored, or just disconnected. And it can be hard to explain, even to yourself, why everything feels slightly out of reach. Here's how this might look in real life. It's a Sunday afternoon, maybe around 4. You're sitting on the couch with the window open. There's nothing urgent you need to do. No messages waiting. No plans you're late for. You decide to watch something, but nothing holds your attention. You get up, walk to the kitchen, then back again. You feel restless, but also flat. Like you're waiting for something, without knowing what. Your chest doesn't feel heavy exactly. Just distant. You think, I should enjoy this quiet, but the thought feels hollow. You're here, but not really here. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. This is what disconnection can look like when it's quiet. Not dramatic. Just a steady sense of being slightly removed from your own life. When this feeling shows up, the instinct is often to push against it. To look for something to fix. Something to add. Something to change. But there are gentler ways to relate to it. One of them starts with noticing where your attention lies during the day. Not judging it. Just noticing. How much time is spent thinking about what's next, versus being where you are. How often your mind is elsewhere while your body keeps moving. You might try anchoring your attention to one small physical detail at a time. The feel of the floor under your feet. The temperature of the air. The sound in the room. Nothing intense. Just enough to remind your system that you're here. This works because disconnection often pulls you into your head. Gently returning to physical cues can help bridge that gap without forcing anything. Another gentle approach is to name the feeling without explaining it. Instead of asking why you feel disconnected, you might simply say to yourself, "I feel distant right now." No story. No analysis. Just a quiet acknowledgement. For a lot of people, this takes pressure off the feeling. It doesn't have to mean anything. It doesn't have to lead anywhere. It's just something that's present. When you stop trying to solve it, the feeling sometimes softens on its own. Not always, but often enough to notice. There's also something important to understand here. Disconnection isn't always a sign that you're doing life wrong. Sometimes it's a sign that you've been doing too much of it without space to process. Or that you adapted in ways that helped you get through, but now leave you feeling a little far from yourself. Because sometimes this feeling isn't a flaw. Sometimes it's your system asking for a different pace. Or more room. Or simply a pause from constant input. And that changes how you relate to it. If you've been feeling disconnected from life, it doesn't mean you're broken or ungrateful or missing something obvious. It often means you've been steady for a long time. Holding things together. Staying functional. This space is for people who look fine on the outside, but quietly feel a step removed on the inside. You don't have to force yourself back into feeling anything. You can start by noticing what's already there, even if it feels faint. And if this explanation felt familiar, you're welcome to stay here for more quiet reflections like this. Sometimes understanding the pattern is enough to feel a little more present again.